Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲು
चेन्नई बेंगलुरु तिरुचिरापल्ली Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दें
You know, when you're on a roller coaster ride and you reach the top, you have butterflies in your stomach anticipating the ride and the thrill. That's how RCB fans must be feeling, especially after what happened against RR. They're so close to the playoffs, but will Hyderabad play spoilsport? Welcome to Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher, and joining me on the roller coaster, I have Sthalekar, and I have somebody who gave us geography lessons right now, Simon Doull. Welcome to the show.
Nice to be back. I must say though, this is feeling a little bit weird. I've never sat in this chair.
I always used to.
Yeah, I'm always where Lisa is, and you know, it's ladies' preference. I understand that. So
Thank you.
just trying to mould myself into it a little bit.
You'll be right.
Okay.
Joy fits in nicely.
Yeah,
I
all
like how you went the roller coaster. Because I've never been a big fan of roller coasters. Hated it. Never went them on.
Scared or
scared and probably thought they were just going to
Go kaput. Yeah.
go break and all of a sudden I'd be flying off it somewhere.
Is that
So let's hope
everything?
that's not RCB fans today.
Is that everything adrenaline sort of?
No, I don't mind other things.
Skydiving.
No, never done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Well,
We digress.
I've enjoyed my skydiving. I've done my skydiving.
Yeah.
I love my roller coaster. So we'll have a look at the roller coaster ride the points table has had. Because of that win that RCB had over RR, their net run rate is just, well, shooting the roof. Simon, Hyderabad's down at 10th position, so nothing to lose today.
No, nothing at all. And maybe a little bit like Delhi yesterday when we were in Dharamshala. They just put on a performance that was sort of befitting of the team that they had and the team that we thought they might produce at the start of the tournament. So maybe that's Hyderabad today. Bangalore will want to have something to say about that. Obviously, a win for Bangalore puts them in a great position. They will go to the same as Mumbai, and then they play the last game. So they're in the spot where if they win today, they know exactly what they need to do in that very last game against the Gujarat Titans for them, which is they're both on Sunday, aren't they? Mumbai plays Sunday afternoon. I think I do that one at Wankiri down the road in a 3:30 game, and then the 7:30 p.m. is the RCB game. So a win for them today. They know exactly what they need to do Sunday night, and time will tell. A loss, though, I think it makes it pretty difficult, and it makes CSK and LSG qualify with a loss.
So, Lisa, today, I feel most cricketers, I don't know if I'm wrong, but when they're not playing, they don't really follow the IPL. But today, all teams are going to be sitting like this at the screen because everyone is rooting for Hyderabad, right?
Yeah. I think everyone in the cricket world, apart from RCB fans and RCB players and
Quite a few of those. There are quite a few of
A
those.
lot of them, if you say something against them, you know what happens on Twitter.
I know, it's okay. I've spent a lot of time in Bangalore and I love the place. But certainly I feel like you're right, everyone else will be cheering for Hyderabad and hoping that they can pull off what Delhi did last night, because that then means there's a number of teams that can still potentially kind of get into that last spot. So they'll be trying and hoping and praying that that happens.
Well, RCB has gotten off to a winning start. They've won the toss and they've decided to bowl first. Talking about bowling and RCB, there's someone who's been spearheading their bowling, and that's been Mohammad Siraj. Even for Hyderabad, there has been booby, but one at a time, because that's how we are very organized. We like doing one at a time. So I feel Siraj is somebody who's just been exceptional in the power play. He comes in with so much fire, homecoming for him. He started off with Hyderabad. This is his home ground. So lots for him to play today.
Yeah, it is. And I think you probably enjoy the surface as well. The groundsman loves this. This is his favourite pitch on this particular ground at the Hyderabad Stadium. So I think there's some pace, some bounce in it. When you look at what Siraj has done in the power play, he's been exceptional. I mean, only Shami has been better from a wicket-taking point of view. He's bowled quick. That's the one thing I like. And he's actually started to get that shape back.
Yeah.
He started to swing the ball away from the right-handers a little bit and back into the lefties. He's troubled all, and he's got that little off-cutter going beautifully as well. So, look, you have to start that power play whether it's with the bat or with the ball, like you mean to carry on. And I think Siraj has predominantly done that for Bangalore this year.
You know, Lisa, Siraj has spoken about how he has been doing very well in the power play, but he's spoken about how he really likes bowling in the death overs. That just shows how competitive he is, because he's just like, hey, I'm here, give me the ball. I want to bowl at every time in the...
Yeah, and he'd probably like a new rule brought in where, you know, you can pick a certain bowler to bowl an extra over or something, and he'd be putting his hand up for that. He's the type of guy that wants the ball in crucial matches. You're right, he's a fighter, he's a competitor. He loves leading this attack. He wants to be the big man to get the big wickets. So it's almost like, and I likened it from an Australian perspective, Glenn McGrath, before any kind of series, he'll go, we're going to win 4-0, 5-0. Like, he just wants to come out and make a statement. This time, Siraj is doing it with the ball in hand, but you're right, he's doing it well at so many different phases. And that's, for a team to find a bowler that can do that, that's absolutely gold dust in this format.
Well, Siraj, we all know, is a big fan of Virat Kohli. He's spoken about this a lot, and he had Faf and Virat over for dinner yesterday, and he's always very charged up when he gives them biryani from his house. So he really likes them coming home for dinner, and he is going to be very charged going in today, considering the pressure in today's game.
Yeah, and look, it's nice to be back home in familiar environment, nice and comfortable surroundings, all those things. A home cooked meal, you know, I think everybody loves that, and it just feels so much better to be in and around family. And he'll have a lot of support at the ground today. Although you know, there'll be many dressed in orange, he'll have a lot of support at that ground today, I'm sure. But it's still, you've got to let the emotions just even out a little bit. You can't get too over, and he has at times been overcharged, too overcharged, almost. You've left the old battery on the electric car for a little bit too long, and it's just been too wired when he comes out. So he's got to temper those emotions just a touch, and make sure that he just goes through the process. And I know cricketers always talk about the process, but he's just got to make sure that he is of sound mind and ready to go, and not too hyped up about the whole situation, and go searching. When he goes searching, I think, is when he goes wrong, when he just hits that hard length. That's when he's had all his success this year. And, you know, as I say, I think the carry and the pace, the bounce in this surface, as the groundsman, it's his favourite one on the ground, and I think they'll be okay. You know, RCB wanted to bowl. I think Caden Markram wanted to bat. He was pretty confident that they were going to bat anyway, so I don't think the toss.
What's the point of the toss?
Toss wasn't required.
No toss required.
Well, it's a bit like last night. In a no-win situation from Delhi's point of view last night, just go out there and express yourselves. We saw Prithvi Shaw had struggled right through, but it was just look, Prithvi, here's your last opportunity. We're gone. We're done. And you know,
go out and have some fun.
Finally, we saw Riley Rousseau do something, you know, without pressure, but still the ability. So maybe that's what we might see from Hyderabad, and that's maybe the reason that they wanted to bat first as well anyway.
But you know, you spoke about how Siraj is this fiery young boy who needs to maybe control his emotions a bit at some point. There's someone who really controls his emotions, and that's Bhuvi in the opposite team, because he is also spearheading the bowling for Hyderabad. We saw what he did in the last game. He's picked up, I think, the maximum wickets in the first over. So he's got all these numbers under him, but he does it very quietly. He doesn't express at all. He does it very, very quietly.
Yeah, tried and tested over a long period of time. So he certainly knows his skills. He knows what he does when the ball, especially a new ball, is in his hand. And you look at the two guys up the top of that list, the Bhuvi and Trent Boult, you know, guys that swing the ball and really challenge that front pad and the edge as well. And when they get the ball to shape, you know, there's two class players there. But Bhuvi, he's been like the one lone soldier left there in Hyderabad as well. So I reckon there's a part of him that's going, hang on, this is not what we do. This is not how we play cricket. This isn't what Hyderabad is all about. Let's kind of go back to what we're doing, or at least I can have an impact in how I play the game. And he certainly led from the front with the ball in hand.
But also, Simon, just to understand, his coach, his childhood coach, said when he came in when he was like 13, and he used to swing the ball. He just was a natural bowler who could swing the ball well. So, do you think him increasing his pace, which he has in the last year, because he had that injury and then he dropped his pace, so that has kind of helped him swing the ball better?
Well, it's just made him a little more dangerous. When you're swinging the ball at mid 130s, you're more dangerous than you are in mid 120s and late 120s. And that's where he was after the injury. And I think now he's just back up in that early to mid 130s. It makes it, you're just giving that batsman a little bit less time to do what they need to do. So it makes a big difference. We said in the previous show that I did just before the Hyderabad game that he hadn't really had a memorable performance. But then he went out and got 5 right on cue, basically.
Yeah.
But we hadn't seen anything this year that had stood out.
Yeah.
A couple of 2s and a 1 and here and there, but nothing really memorable until that last game. So it was good to see him back to it, but he hasn't. Again, that the whole Hyderabad attack is centred around an Indian bowling attack and Rashid.
Yes.
That's Indian pace and Rashid. And that's kind of how it worked for years and years and years. And Natarajan hasn't been at his best. Umran Malik hasn't been there this year. And Bhuvi's he's had the world on his shoulders, I think. And it's been a pretty tough year for him because it's not the way that he wants to sort of see this side. And it's not the sort of bowling attack that he wants to lead either and have it underperforming. He's not that type of character.
We'll have a look at Hyderabad's playing 11. They are batting first because Bangalore's wanting to bowl first. I don't think we should expect any changes in today's team, or do you think they should give a Harry Brook and Mayank another go?
I think Brook, definitely. Much like what I saw from Riley Rousseau last night. I think a Brook that's not under pressure.
A lot of changes there.
There you go. Okay, a Brook that's not under pressure of having to win a game.
Yeah.
We might again go back to seeing some of the best of him.
Yeah.
I'm pleased to see Phillips back, and a little bit from a Kiwi point of view. But I mean, great game, and then he got a golden day. He got a beauty delivery in the next, and then they left him out. So that's their batting.
Yes,
11,
they're batting
Sharma and Tripathi, Markram, Klaas, and so who have they left out?
So maybe Natarajan comes in. He's been their impact player.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bhuvi, Karthik Tyagi back. So,
there is no Mayank Markande either. He's been very good for them.
Yeah, maybe he comes in. They've got enough seam bowling.
But it feels like it's the last game. Let's just give everyone a go. That's what they've done.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to get a gauge of where players are moving forward so you understand, okay, we want to keep this player, the right type of mould. Understand that also this game there is no pressure.
Yeah.
So put everything in context, okay? Certain players didn't cope when they needed them to step up, but okay, are they the right type of character, type of player? Can they kind of come back as well, having sat out for a number of games and then being given this final opportunity? Can they still play their best cricket? So I think it's smart. You've got to utilise sometimes this dead rubber from a Hyderabad perspective to kickstart your campaign for the next year.
Yeah, well, they have no pressure, which is why they've gone ahead and made all those changes. We'll have a look at RCB's team and see if they've made any changes. Shahbaz Ahmed, this is their bowling 11, so they will get that extra batsman in.
No DK, that's the big one I see there.
So DK will come in for when they come to bat.
You've got to.
Does he? You've got to. I mean, if DK is going to play, then he should be keeping. I would have thought.
Well, Anuj Rawat was really good behind the wickets the other day.
I did catch up. I did cross paths with DK maybe a week ago.
Slightly injured?
And no, sick. He was sick with the flu.
Okay.
So maybe he's still kind of recovering from that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's when he had a good game against Mumbai from a batting perspective, and then he didn't play. He got subbed out for the second innings. So
they've got probably Desai, Kedar Jadhav, and DK as their batting options, I suppose, to come in later in the piece. But
the sub list comes in much later, so we know what the sub list is when it comes out. But we have a whole lot of questions that all you wonderful viewers keep asking us. So we're going to take one of the questions today on Ask Cricbuzz Live. And this is something what we were talking about with SRH's season over. What changes could they potentially make for 24? Even though they were regarded a good team on paper, what are the missing links that Hyderabad's management should look at to address? Sthalekar asks us that. Cricket Valley. Oh, that's a nice name, Cricket Valley. Like that name. Sorry.
As long as you like the name. Well done
exactly.
to you.
That's good.
Nice name.
Simon's very happy with your name.
Yeah.
So you want us to pick a couple of players that they should...
They should let go and who
Yeah.
they should certainly retain. We'll
Okay.
probably go with the batsman first and see who y'all think they should,
Do you know who I'm going to pick?
who you're going to pick to retain.
To retain? Oh, I think Klaasen and Markram as well. I mean, and then from an Indian point of view, Tripathi. I think, I know, whilst he cost a lot, I still don't, I'm just trying to scratch my head why things didn't click for him, but I still think they will in the future.
So you, these are the three you will retain.
Yes.
And for you, Sam?
Yeah, look, I think they're letting Harry Brook go.
Yes. A lot of money there.
I think it's a lot of money, and I think they'll try and buy him back. I think he's a
Cheaper,
nice fit.
yeah.
They'll just try and buy him back for less than that 13.25 crore, I think. Glenn Phillips, I'd retain at that sort of money. I think they can find a spot for him. I agree with Klaasen and Markram in particular. Abhishek, could they buy him back cheaper than 6.5? Mayank Agarwal's gone.
Well, he was
Thank you very
retained, but
much.
Mayank for 8.25
Yeah, Mayank's gone. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think, look, if they let him go, I don't think any other team's going to pick him up, and I don't think they should buy him back. I look at his overall record, and it's atrocious. For a guy that's played 100 games, it's just a really poor record. He's batted in the top three for years,
Yeah.
and it's just not a record that stands up compared to anyone else that's batted in the top three.
Is he the type of guy that his state numbers are great for Karnataka?
His
but
numbers, state numbers are
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, but then at the next level, he
just
just
can't. This
struggles.
hasn't really, and he's had so many opportunities at different franchises.
But
I
he's
just-
also had, like, I
he's
just
a
feel
different-
like I don't know why it's not converted for him, because he is one of those really good boys who'll practice and practice and practice very hard with test matches. He's converted
We're not saying he's a bad guy.
No, I'm just saying he's converted.
We're
Like,
just saying-
whenever he gets a ton, he goes and makes it a double ton. He's
Yeah.
he's always had those conversions. So he's got everything going, but hasn't made it in the
But
eye.
there's some players that just can't do it at the next level, regardless of how good their numbers are at a domestic level. And I feel like he's been, how many years has he been
Well,
around
I'm trying to get his numbers up now,
Yeah.
but his batting numbers in the IPL, he averages 22 in 122 games, and he's batted at 1, 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't average, guys,
Yeah.
if you're having the batting in 120 games and only average 22, and he's a lovely guy, and you want to see him succeed, but that is a pretty large sample size,
Yeah.
to average 22 batting in the top
Yeah.
order. And I just think that's kind of, at 8.25, it's a lot of
expensive.
money. When you look down that list,
Yeah.
obviously the second or third most expensive
Yes.
on that list.
Yes.
So that's money spent elsewhere. Where are we? 13, 8.5 and 8
Yeah.
point. So he's third behind Tripathi and Harry Brook on that list. So to me, that's money you can save and maybe look elsewhere.
I think some franchise might pick him up for like 1.5. Like you're like
yeah,
like
maybe
Yeah, I'm
base.
sure they will.
Maybe
Yeah, yeah,
base.
Yeah, to-
like all of a
Yeah.
sudden your top order.
Because generally a very good
get-
fielder.
Yes, correct. One of the best.
And and so as a backup opener,
opener.
if one of your Indian openers falls over as
Yeah.
a backup opener, absolutely.
He'd be in. But otherwise, I think teams need to kind of move on.
We'll have a look at the bowlers, because there were a whole lot of bowlers that, didn't really play. And that's Umran Malik with 4 crores there. Ian Bishop asked Markram right now that, what's happening with Umran Malik. And he said, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. That was what he said.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
He is that X factor. So will you want to let him go?
He probably needs to be aware of that as the skipper, I would imagine, and start working with his players and speaking to them. But anyway, each to their own.
I mean, I don't know if it was the captain saying it's the management making the calls. Was that kind of a statement?
Yeah,
And I'll be
yeah.
reading too much into it.
Well, and maybe maybe there's sort of fitness assessments and things going on behind the scenes. He doesn't have to worry about too much.
No.
Look, he's told, look, Umran's fit, Umran's not fit.
Yeah.
And as a captain in these franchises, you can't really worry yourself with everybody and their injuries. You just need to know the 11 or 12 that are fit and ready to go.
From that point of view, but I think also as a captain, you need to be able to understand how the person's going, where they are mentally. can I help and assist? So when I'm out there in the trenches and I've got you at the top of the mark, I know that you're of sound mind and body to be able to execute what we've discussed. So that's my only point.
That list there, I mean, both he and Natarajan are great buys. I mean,
And
Indian
even the
pace
Tyagi.
bowlers, look, they haven't done the job this year, but Indian pace bowlers are expensive buys because you need them in your team. So at 8 crore for the two of them, that's really good value. I still think it's good value. You're not letting those guys go. I don't think at that. Washi's the one for me, Washington Sundar, at
And he's a retained player.
8.75. Again, just 7 matches, only 3 wickets, hasn't really done it with the bat. Could they buy him back cheaper?
Yeah.
And they've got a steal with Bhuvi as well. I mean, you got a class bowling attack there if they're right for 12 crore in your 3 Indian bowlers. I mean, that's very, very good.
So Washington goes for you and probably get him back cheaper.
I think so. Yeah, I'd try and buy him back cheaper. And Marco Jansen, 8 matches, 10 wickets. I don't know. Been okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of looking at a list of players who haven't really fired. So that's why it's probably a little bit harder in that sense. I mean, Natarajan has had a lot of injuries to the build-up. So, you know, I'd certainly keep him because I think he's long-term. I mean, maybe I've got a soft spot for the little offie, Washington Sundar. So
I really like Washington.
Oh, look, I think someone would buy him in a heartbeat. I just don't know whether they think they can buy him back for less than 8.7 crores, or do they have another option? And as we talked about, now that Markanday is bowling as well as he is, have they got another part-time option? Is Aiden Markram able to do 2 or 3 overs of off-spin and just maybe take a little bit of what Washington Sundar could do? And at 8.75 crore, you're thinking, you know, we've got a genuine quality leg spinner now. We've got a couple of options with some left arm part-time. We've got Markram with some right arm and Phillips as well. So I just look at it in that realm and say, could we do better?
okay, good point.
That's the only thing. And I love Washi as well. I think he's a terrific character. But we're talking purely from a cricket point of view.
Yes.
You know, we don't think they're bad people. We're just talking about cricket.
And
right?
he's a great batsman. I think he's a very talented batsman.
I actually think he needs to go up the order.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my issue with him. I don't think they.
Where do they fit him in? If
Well,
they put him up? That's
the thing.
Everyone wants to bat up the order. don't we?
Correct.
We just said how easy it is.
Yeah, I think probably a 4 or maybe a 5 a 5 position. I think
I think
anything
he's a
above that.
Krunal type.
I think he might.
Okay,
potentially.
Krunal Hardik
He's
type
been working
4,
a lot
5.
on his power hitting, so clearly he's sending that message across. But is there a problem with the management not listening to messages? Because Brian Lara's come out and said that he's very new to coaching. This is the first time he's coaching as well. So he has a lot of learnings for himself. He's spoken about how, well, unfortunately, Indian batters didn't do well. Like a Tripathi didn't do well, Mayank didn't do well. So he said they've had good seasons. Tripathi, Abhishek Sharma has had a good season. So he put all this in their press conference. But do you see a change in management? Because Hyderabad's known to, well, move things around a lot.
Oh dear. One more year perhaps. You give them some rope after the first year. I don't think it was a great decision, first and foremost. I think, Brian's a great mentor, and I think that would have been a great place for him to stay. Coaching's a tough gig, and if you haven't done coaching, he's not done coaching.
Yes.
And this is the best league in the world, and you're coming into it without any experience whatsoever, any experience to look after your own management team. So I think it was a really, it was a decision that I don't know whether they thought through enough. And I don't know whether it was a spur of the moment, but I just don't think there was a real amount of due diligence went into it. And sometimes that can happen. So, again, I'd give him one more to see.
If they're going to give him one more, then he needs a senior coach, mentor to help him.
Yeah.
Almost background type.
But they have a Muralidhar and they have a Dale Steyn.
No. But see, all of those guys have never been head coaches.
No.
Okay.
They've always been assistants or mentors or bowling
Dale's
coach.
very new as well.
Yeah. So even though Murali's been around for a long time, he's just sat. It's a completely different thing because you'll also have a better relationship with players as an assistant or bowling or mentor because you're not making the decisions at the end of the day, right? So the head coach is never loved by everyone. And it's a hard place because you're dealing with management up and then you're dealing with the players and the rest of the coaching staff. So that's why I say he needs someone of a senior figure who won't kind of take over, but be there to help. I'm just trying to think who.
Well, I mean, they had the perfect guy, but he's now working in television again, isn't he? And Tom Moody, one of the great sort of coaches and one of the great understanders of the game of cricket and how structures need to be. But this, we were talking about this in Dharamshala with a few of my fellow commentators, and there's some very smart people involved in the IPL over the last 10, 12, 14 years. They've always remained in the background. They've been bowling coach, fielding coach.
No head coaches.
We had a quiet lemonade with Trevor Penny, who's one of the greats. Yeah. One of the greats. But they never want to be head coach. Yeah. For that very reason, that their head is on the line.
Yeah. Bad call.
And Brian had a great role there as just a little mentor, but he wanted to be head coach and he pushed for it. He wanted the job, and now they might finish last, and that becomes a tough thing.
Well, the positive for Hyderabad, though, has been Klassen. He's the only one who said, love you 300. There's been no one else who's got more than 300 runs in the batters for Hyderabad. He's had a great season, Lisa.
Yeah, he's had a great season, and, he's come in and he had an impact straight away. And, we saw in other teams, the South Africans coming a little bit later and then sitting on the sidelines. So I'm glad Hyderabad literally has given him the opportunity and the numbers and what he's been able to produce. And just my colour code, he's only failed once, really. Yeah. So that just shows you the class and consistency. And I think the last time we were talking about Hyderabad and what they should do, I'd love to see him get more opportunity, as in bat just a little bit higher.
Do you want Washy up there? You want Klassen up? Who's coming down?
There's quite a few.
Hey, come on, you've got to kick someone out.
Hey, we've already gotten rid of Mayank Agarwal, haven't we?
Gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
That's a fair point. I mean, just on that point, I think maybe if they're going to look at keeping Washy, then get him to open. Get him to open with Abhishek Sharma. Get him to open with Abhishek Sharma. Then have your Tripathi, Klassen, Markram at 3, 4, 5, and maybe do that next year if that's an option.
See, that's great.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm just helping you out there.
Thanks.
Great thing about Klassen, keeper.
Yes.
The reed spinners. You watch the way he's played spin through the tournament. He's probably been one of the best, I think, at playing spin through the tournament. That's what I love about him.
I'm suddenly feeling nervous because I can almost imagine the RCB fans saying, what's wrong with y'all? RCB is playing. How much are you going to talk about Hyderabad? Enough of this Hyderabad discussion next year.
But see, Bangalore they've still got plenty more opportunities in the tournament to talk about them. Relax, Aram se.
No, but of course, Bangalore is playing today. If we talk about the comeback man, Wayne Parnell, he was beautiful to watch in the last game, and he's really taking over those middle overs for Bangalore.
Another experienced player, and I think that's one of the keys that's been slightly better from Bangalore's point of view. This just 5 matches and 9 wickets, great average, and a really good economy. When you think about where he's bowling, what overs he's bowling, and the strike rates and the scores over 200, that economy rate for a seam bowler is exceptional this year when you compare it to others. But he's come back after, I don't know, 9, 10 years out of the IPL? I think 2014 or something like that was the last game. Last time he played in the IPL, he was just a vastly more experienced cricketer. And I think that's the key for him.
Lisa, actually, in this last game, he made this comment saying that he almost felt like he's playing on his home ground because it felt like he was playing at Pal. The first 2 wickets he got, he felt like, oh, this feels like home. That's what the pitch felt like. And that got him in the momentum. Thanks.
You're not supposed to say the word.
Next season, I'll learn.
Into the groove.
Into the groove. But one thing about him is he's taken his opportunities. The same thing previously before this, the South African series, he came in as a replacement player as well. And just kind of, I think, being a child prodigy and being the expectation on you, and then things didn't necessarily go right. We spoke about this with Joy about Riley Russo as well. The more experience you get and having to fight your way through and figure things out, then when you do get the opportunities like he has, you savour them. You know what you are, you know who you are, you know what type of bowler you are. You're not looking at the other guy at the other end or other games going, oh no, I want to be that person. You actually know within yourself what you can do. And we're seeing that. And so he's standing very confident at the top of his mark to be able to execute his skill. So he has no problem coming in later. He has no problem sitting on the sideline and waiting. He's probably savouring every moment, pinching himself, going, I'm back here again.
I'm back. Yeah.
This is great. I'm loving every minute, even if I don't play a game.
Yeah. Well, Wayne Parnell is back, and we are also back with the joy factor question of the day, because we have to do it every day. It's a tradition at Cricbuzz. Today's question is: this player was the leading wicket taker in a World Cup, and his injury in the next year actually ended up helping his franchise. Name the player. I have no idea. I knew one question, which was yesterday's question. Otherwise, I have no idea on joy.
I might know.
Well,
maybe.
this is, it usually ties it into one of the teams that are playing today. And if you think about
Oh, do you have that?
my mate next door.
Yeah, see, I was thinking that too, Dooley. I might know this one.
Do you come from
All right then. Looks like you'll have the answers. So don't give them out just yet. Y'all can give us the answers though to our prediction game.
Oh, yeah.
So Lisa likes to go first. She comes with her homework. She comes with... Come on, Lisa.
Hang on, who's batting first? I always ask this. Who's batting first?
Hyderabad are batting first.
Rahul
Washington
Tripathi
is not opening.
Okay, thank you. I am going to go for 184.
184. Oh dear. I'm going with last night's form, and I'm trusting the groundsman in him saying that it is the best pitch he has on the ground. I'm going to say 223.
Wow. Now Siamy's like, wow, that's so much. Where do I go? Where's my middle spot?
Yeah.
Left her note.
I have no idea.
There's the whole playing field there for
I was
you.
getting a little scared to even go to 195. But, well, he's just given me that confidence. I'm going to go with 200. Might as well.
Okay.
Because he is our in-house pitch reporter as well. He's always on the pitch, so we should trust him go with,
Kiwi.
Well.
Should we? Please.
Yeah. We'll wait and watch. We'll see if we should have trusted him or not, but we'll know that a little later. This ground, Bangalore has just won once in Hyderabad. So not something that the RCB fans want to know, but something that they want to know is that on today's date, that's the 18th of May, Virat Kohli got that 100 when he showed those stitches. I'm sure he'll remember, and maybe we can expect a Virat Kohli knock. We'll wait and watch. That's all we can do. But you all should not forget to join us at the 10-hour point at the Cricbuzz Combox.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲು
चेन्नई Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दें